else's show right now?
Awesome.
Like it's just some poor woman who's like getting the food ready for a little cooking demonstration. She doesn't know she's live. That's the kind of world I want to live in, Dylan.
Well, we can make that
I just
happen
try
for
to
you.
distract him when he tries to start the show. Just want to see how far off the rails
You
this
gotta
can
get
go.
something that's up a little higher, yeah?
Well, I don't want to make it too easy on Dylan. He masters too many things too quickly. Are you doing a shuffle and see now? Somebody steal your frets? I knew he was going to do that. I knew you. I knew you were not going to be able to resist. No, hold on. All right, we'll just see you next Wednesday, everybody. Because he
this
wasn't
was great.
supposed
This
to
was
do
super
that.
fun.
That's right. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Two Guys with Guitars. Yet again, we're two guys and a lady with guitars.
a lady.
That's
Yes.
right.
And a lady.
We have
Wonderful.
Angela Petrilli with us. Everybody,
Yeah,
big round of applause.
thank you,
Believe me, they're
Angela,
really
for
loud.
coming.
So happy
Hear
to
them.
be here,
It's like,
yes.
look at her. So wonderful. Okay, so now we're gonna get into now. This is Dr. Dylan Caligiuri,
Hey!
as
Oh!
usual. I'm still Eugene Edwards over here.
Yeah.
And of course we have Angela there, and we're two guys with guitars, and we're gonna learn everything we possibly can about Angela within
Yeah.
60 minutes.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof, she says.
Okay.
Now let me do a little. I'm gonna do a little intro here. See if any of this, and then you're gonna do the fact checking as we
I will
as we
let
do
you
this,
know.
okay?
False. Go ahead.
Angela Petrilli, if that is your real name, she's a professional guitarist from Los Angeles, California. Okay, or you could just screw with that,
there we
Dylan.
go.
Thanks, that's great.
Got it. Now she's a professional.
Are you
Now
done?
I am, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
They take his frets and then he loses all his. She first picked up the guitar at the age of 9 and quickly immersed herself in a lot of different styles of music. But by 13, she began studying under the established blues guitarist Jimmy Scott. She received her degree in communication studies from UCLA over in UCLA, over there in Westwood, not far from here. An intern
school.
at a local record company.
Yeah.
Working with the Bangles. Oh, I know them.
Yeah.
Al Jardine of the Beach Boys and Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. In 2013, she founded the band Roses and Cigarettes with Los Angeles singer-songwriter Jenny Pagliaro. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about her a little later in the show. Now she can be seen in her favorite guitar riffs on her popular Instagram page and as host of Petrilli Picks on the Norm's Rare Guitars YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
it's a good one.
Angela currently lives here in LA with her many awesome, beloved guitars.
And yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
thank you guys.
Well, there's
you're
a
too
live
kind.
studio audience
You're too
here.
kind.
That applause is for me being able to read.
Yeah, that was great.
Now,
It's
if
tiny text though.
It's fine. If it's as long as it's way over there, I can
Yeah,
see it. If he
that's
gets
great.
it any closer to here, it's a problem.
Done.
Yeah. And also, if anybody's a first-time viewer, please let us know in the comments. If you have questions for Angela or comments about Dylan's shirt, please drop them in the comment section because I know
I almost wore plaid today for
It
you.
was in the bin.
I love the polka dots.
Thank you.
I
I
feel
think
like this is a
polka dots are
buddy
good.
guy
Yes.
tribute a little bit.
I was at a government mule show, and
As one does.
I love government mule so much. And this guy came up to me. He's like, "I don't know if you know who Buddy Guy is,
You're like,
but your sweater reminds me of Buddy Guy." I'm like, "Actually, I do."
yeah.
And thank you, because it totally is. I'll take it.
Now, when a moment like that, I can't help but ask, did you consider that moment condescending or not?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
All right.
I didn't at all.
Yeah.
You've heard worse, I assume.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay,
for
there you go.
sure. But no, not at
Okay.
all. Because I get it. Like he maybe, he
Maybe
didn't
it's
assume I was a
generational.
musician.
Yeah, he may
and
think-
absolutely
Yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
No, but I was like very cool. I'm like, yes, I got this because it reminded me of Buddy Guy, and he's one of my favorites.
There you, and then he must have made his day.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Oh yeah, no, he's like, oh, you like the blues, and da. We started chatting. It was really lovely.
I just met Warren a couple weeks ago, actually, for the first time. And chatted with
he's
him.
one of my favorite guitar players.
Yeah, he is
just ever.
like a channel. That
Yeah.
guy. Do you know
He's
the
incredible.
Dave Grohl story?
No.
Total sidetrack.
No. What's the Dave Grohl story?
Dave Grohl grew up in Washington, D.C., right? So his mom still lived in D.C. on the morning of 9/11.
Yes, I have heard this story. It's great. This is a good story.
And you know, his mom, are you okay? Because Grohl's out here with his family in L.A.
okay, yeah, you're right.
But his mom is kind of just, not that far from the Pentagon.
Sure.
And no one knows what's happening. So he's just, how do I get my mom out of D.C.? Can't fly her out.
Yeah.
So at a couple of hours, some calls are made. It's like, are any tour buses in that area that can grab my mom and get her here to Los Angeles?
Wow.
Warren.
Warren.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Warren Hayes.
Gordon- Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, I'll get her. So they hate mom. A tour bus, pack as much as you can for a couple. A tour bus is going to be pulling up pretty soon to the house. Okay, on it is a big guy with a beard.
Yeah.
His name's Warren. He's a real sweetheart. And she did, and they spent spent several days.
And when she gets to the door, he says, "Do you know who Buddy Guy is?"
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that what the tie-in?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
That's the
It's a
tie-in.
callback.
Yeah, I think he said that was the Stern.
Yeah,
show
yeah,
where-
yeah.
yeah. I was talking about
So
Stern.
Warren and Dave Grohl's mom are friends to this day because they spent a week on a tour bus together.
I wonder what they talk
that week
about.
of all weeks.
You know what I mean?
I don't. I guess I talked to him about guitar playing, so I guess that's pretty predictable.
She's like, look at these pictures of
You know, it was 9/11. It just happened. I can't imagine.
baby.
I just picked these vegetables for my garden. They're beautiful.
Warren's.
Who knows?
Who would you like to cross country on a tour bus? You just get to pick.
Oh my God.
Because you have to figure out, like, well, and like the conversation is going to be good enough, but you also realize, okay, but I think they won't be too intense,
Right.
right? You don't want to.
Oh my God. There's so many people.
In the
Ooh, this is
comments,
such a good
I want
question.
everyone.
Yeah.
Who do you? You get
No.
1 week on a tour bus, no gigs. You're just trying to get from point A to point to B. Maybe you're trucking a bunch of Coors, like in Smoking the Bandit or something.
Right,
You know,
right.
That's you.
I think, well, you don't want somebody who's too much of a monk on tour,
Right.
As a rejection to being like
Right.
an alcoholic on tour. So they're like, oh, I'm going to get up at 4:30 every day, then I'll go jogging, and then I'll start doing like calisthenics, and then we begin the workouts after.
Wow.
And like,
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
want that.
Okay.
But I don't also want like and
Right.
so
Harpo Marx.
I'm thinking
what was
Derek
that?
Trucks.
Oh, Tedeschi Truck.
Susan.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, for me, it would be a tie between
You're listening,
Bonnie
Derek.
Raitt and Dave. Dave Grohl.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think body
Yeah.
rate was an option. Is
Yeah,
body rate
well,
an option?
there it
Yeah,
is.
why
Done.
not? Of
Okay, I
course.
changed my answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Easygoing person too.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just from seeing her live, like all the stories, I'm like, oh, I would love to hear those stories.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she in the business a long
Yeah.
time. Never heard a bad word about her. That's saying something.
I recently saw her at the Greek and was so incredibly blown away
Yeah.
by her and her band, and just it was awesome.
Yeah.
She had
Awesome show.
There's an interview with her from a couple of years ago, maybe 5 years ago now, talking about the music scene and the music business, and it was in response to. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not that long ago at all because she just won the Grammys not that long ago.
Yeah.
She
yeah.
won a couple 100 million Grammys.
Yeah.
And it was response to like a lot of younger folks had said like,
Oh right. They didn't know
who is this Bonnie Raitt and why?
Yeah.
How did she take this away from Tyler the Creator and who else?
Right.
And so, her response was quite decadent and had countenance.
What does he mean by that?
Nobody knows. And so, but no, they were.
Dylan and his big words.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about a chocolate bar. But her responses were extremely professional and she kind of went like, look, I mean, if somebody would have come up and won Grammys, when I was 20, that I had no clue who they were, I would probably had a similar response. So it was like, it was just a little bit of like, empathetic response of being able to transport yourself into someone else's experience.
Also, what I thought was interesting about the one was I didn't know anybody 35 and under even cared who won a Grammy. No offense to the Grammys, but I'm just saying.
I don't think we didn't care when we were kids.
I
didn't care.
I just kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, were they really all that offended?
Well, Angela grew up here, though, right?
I did,
So
yeah.
that people here cared about it, I think.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
even
I
sure.
used to. I worked the Grammys one year. I was a
yeah?
PA at the Grammys. It was the year after Adele had won for 21. It was a super cool experience. Like everyone you could think of was backstage, and I was like, "Oh my god, this
it's
is
real.
so cool."
I'm sure it's a really
Yeah.
Bonnie Raitt was there, and I so wanted to talk to her and just couldn't
Sure.
muster up the courage to do it.
She would have been.
Is it was it?
She would have. I know she would have been
Is it
cool.
Michael Green? Is that the name of the guy? This is the president. Is that the,
I don't recall. I don't know.
I met him. We did a benefit in at the No Key Theater a few years ago, or some years ago actually, and he was there, and he was the head of NARAS basically, right? And the Recording Science. What's the the acronym, something like that. Anyway, so then we're small
NARAS.
talk. Is it Naras?
NARAS.
All right, sorry, Naras. All right.
It's okay.
And you
gotta say it with an
Trying
accent,
to make
though.
small talk, and I thought, I don't know are we supposed to talk about the Grammys? And I said, hey, I got questions. Every year Mozart wins, he never shows. Is that getting rude? Are you offended? He thought that was kind of funny. So anyway,
airfare from
this
Austria,
show's gone
you know.
way off course in just one 10-minute
As it
chunk right
generally
there.
is.
That's fine. Have you noticed?
I so expected it because
Yeah.
Dylan I've known for a long
Yeah.
time.
Let's
We've
do
known
this.
each other a long time.
How did you two meet?
I don't know.
It
On
was
gigs.
It was gigs, yeah.
Gigs.
And then you
Gigs.
and I met through Lee Diaz.
Which
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, so you think you brought the guitar and we're going to talk about
Yes.
this. But I actually had you here to talk about how to make pizza dough and a
we're
great
in.
crust.
Oh,
Can
that's
we-
a good. That's
okay.
a good topic.
Apparently, this is something you do and you
I've
teach.
done that. I've been there.
Because you've
Yeah,
been there. He's
multiple
been and Drew too.
Drew.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. It
Yeah.
smells like Drew's burning something, or
Those are
has
crab
burnt
feet.
something.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I trust everything he cooks.
Okay.
He's such a great cook.
methodical.
Yeah, he's very, very good at what he
If
does.
anything takes that long, it better be good.
That's Dylan's roommate we're speaking about, by the
Yeah.
way. It's not like a fictional character.
It's a
Although,
huge
house.
that would be fun. Let's just talk about Drew and make extraordinary tales from Vienna. We'll never see him. I don't know if this magical cup of tea arrived.
yeah,
But
he wears-
yeah, it was right before COVID. I had a bunch of people over at the
right.
house, and
It was
I'm like,
very
I'm making pizza.
shortly before COVID.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was the last time I've seen like a lot of people. A lot of my friends like moved.
Yeah.
After that party,
Yeah.
and it was very sad, but the party was very fun. But yeah, I made
was.
10 pizzas.
Wow.
For a crew of people. It was great.
We ate all of it.
Yeah, it was
We were,
gone.
we were more gluttonous.
We had
at
musicians
that
there.
time.
This is not going to be leftover pizza.
It
was
was a
nothing like
group of friends from like all different walks of life, and I'm
Oh.
like, all these people get along. Like, this is going to be really cool. But like, a lot of them are musicians.
Sure.
It
We
was
Some
super
very
fun.
talented singer friends who are in the upper echelon.
That you guys back up
Yeah.
and do things with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and then you and I met kind of, well, not due to COVID maybe, but it was during.
Right,
In
yeah.
fact, so, and you, do you still, well, I guess you do the Norm show now. Do you
I
still
do-
do your Instagram?
No, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, maybe I'll like turn it into a podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually down the road I
an
will,
idea.
because it was so much fun.
It was bigger than so we have a mutual friend, Lee Diaz, and he runs my social media for me.
Shout out to Lee. He's awesome.
Highly.
Yeah, Lee's great.
So, like a couple of months into lockdown, and again, I don't think we were doing the Fender show. We weren't doing the Fender show yet.
It was that
like,
early.
by remote. Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like I really hadn't communicated with him. I mean, there was no outside world, And then, but Lee says, "Hey, I'm going to have you go on my friend's show." I said, "Okay, how do we do this?"
Yeah.
He says, "You just kind of need your
need a
Instagram and phone, and that's it." And
Are you breathing?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had never done anything like that, but it was tons of fun, and it really,
super fun.
and then just to see people with questions and comments scrolling down, I was like, "Oh, they're out there!"
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
really,
yeah. Right.
Now it seems now we're all used to it.
Yeah.
But doing that with you in what was probably late March of 2020,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, it really, it did a lot for my spirits, honestly.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And
to
I feel
hear
like I did a
that.
really
I'm so
good
happy
job
to
on
hear
the
that.
pedal board question. I'm still really proud of that. Because you had a question, like you have
Yeah.
like $150 or so. What was the
Yeah.
parameter of the question?
You have $150 for
Then
a
we
travel
understand.
board, and what would you get?
So
I know.
go.
Oh God.
$150.
3 rat pedals. So I could gain stage them.
You could have layered. That's a little pricey.
Well, this one's a buffer
Yeah.
for the main rat. And then
First thing out of my mouth was a tuner, and your eyes got like saucers, and you're like, I don't know if anyone's answered with that yet. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, they're not pros.
oh my,
You need one.
Yeah.
that's such
So
a
I'm so-
You need one.
square.
It is
answer.
pretty square. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know what?
You need a tuner,
Angela.
folks.
Yeah.
So you have a new record out.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a history behind this. What's EP? I say
Yes,
record.
It's right. It's fine.
got-
Album.
you got
whatever.
new
It's-
tunes
it's-
out
it's- It's new music, folks. Yeah.
And let's talk about the background of that recording, and then I want to get to Jenny
Sure.
as
Okay,
part of that.
sure.
So the material, do you write a lot? Are you very prolific? Did you have a scale down from a bunch of tunes? How?
It's it's kind of all of the above.
Oh.
I will answer the best I can.
Okay.
So I we were able to record at Sunset Sound in Studio 2. And
Oh,
I was
boy.
like stoked.
Okay.
It was, and I booked the day and I had a few songs in the can, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them February, or it was August 27th, 2022. That's the day.
Oh.
And they're like, okay, great. Studio 2. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Boom.
And then I'm like, okay, I got to write 2 more songs.
Yeah.
And that, because I needed a little bit of a fire under my ass to get it done.
Yeah.
So, had the crew ready. The band was, we're ready to go. And I'm like, all right, I need to finish 2 songs. I have all these floating ideas, and whichever ones are going to come to me, the ones that want to be a part of this EP are going to be a part of this EP.
Okay.
I don't really like forcing stuff either, but I knew I needed just a little bit of like, get your shit together. You need to finish this. Can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's it's encouraged.
No F-bombs or anything. I'll try not to, but whatever.
if it happens.
It's still...
What happens? It happens.
We got 40 minutes. You never know what's gonna happen. But I had the tunes and had that date and slowly chipping away at them. Some songs came very quickly, and other songs, one in particular, I needed to really get. And I had the idea of what all these songs sounded like in my head, so it was a matter of just getting it right. And it was a really beautiful experience going in there. We were in there one day. And it's like 5 songs in a day.
Okay, so just for those that don't have recording experience, or we have people who are learning guitar and still kind of like to hear about like how does this thing work?
Yeah.
Talk about how you have to organize. You have one day to cut X amount of songs.
Yes.
And you don't want the stress to come across on the record, right? So planning. What was your strategy going in to make sure you came out with what, because you're paying?
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta come out with some groceries here.
Right. We have one day, and I don't have a record company being like, I could screw around for a week.
Right.
That's not the case. So I'm a logistics queen. You can ask any of the guys
yeah?
in my band. Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean, we planned it down to the hour of to the half hour.
Conscientious and industrious.
So it was, everything was planned out. So and so arrives this time. We were very, very fortunate. The Friday before, so the day before, we got to load in and get all the sounds dialed in. So that was huge.
Oh, that's
that
big.
is
That
huge.
was huge.
That could take a long time.
That can take a long time. So we got all that dialed in. So it was great. Brought in the amps and the guitars and all that stuff. So to the hour, okay, Brett and Steven show up. Angela shows up. Matt shows up. Bobby shows up. Okay. Engineer's already there. We sent him the demo with everything.
Wow. He knew then.
He knew.
Section B was coming here.
Here's the order in which we're doing the songs. We're starting with this one, then we're doing this one, and it's all
Those guys do their homework too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they're
and
serious.
and shout out to Jeff Neal, who's just
They're real engineers.
He's
It's
a
not-
gift. Yeah.
They don't show up and go like, "What are we doing today?"
Yeah.
No. He's such an artist and just like the coolest dude ever too.
Yeah.
And it was, when I first met him, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna engineer this EP whenever it's ready. Like I knew immediately, like he was the guy to do it.
Yeah.
And we got everything set up. It's like, all the echo chambers, we're using them. Cool. Okay. And rehearsal is the biggest thing. You can't go into a studio and be like, we're gonna wing it, man. Like you can't. So we rehearsed a lot.
Yeah.
So there was no questions during the recording of it. Like, wait. So we go into the B section here. We do another measure of this here. To like, there was none of that. The retakes were, okay, we're close. Let's get that conversation a little bit better. Like with me and Matt, there's the tune, The Voices.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was totally live. There was not, the only overdubs were my vocals and Vic's percussion and the background vocals.
And an overdub, you guys, is when you've laid down the foundation of the track and somebody comes over and sings over it, or they solo over it, or they do a second solo over it, or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was completely tracked live. It was important to me because that song is very layered, and the title of the song, but also the instrumentation and the dynamics are also voices in and of themselves too.
Yeah.
So there's this point in the song where Matt LeMayo's the harmonica player and just a great buddy of mine, an incredible musician, and we have this back and forth conversation, and it was so important for that to be captured live and in that moment and encapsulate that moment. And we did a few takes, and the one that we got is the one you hear on the record. It's like, that was the one. We all looked at each other, and I remember a moment where Steven and Brett were looking at each other, and they're like, this is the one. And I remember feeling it here too, and I go,
Right.
this is the one. All right, good.
And the last note hasn't faded out yet.
Right.
That feeling.
Yeah,
When
and
you're
I'm
already
just
looking
like,
at each other, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, just
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
screw
yeah.
up.
Just hold it,
goal
and
is
we got
to
it.
lose time when you're hearing it back. You just kind of like,
I remember
forgot.
somebody, this is from years ago, it was like someone had a band in the 90s in Chicago, and they were going to cut a record, and I think they pulled enough money to, I think they're going to have Butch Vig like produce it. So they call him over, they to play him the songs.
Yeah.
And apparently Butch Vig just said, a rehearsal space costs a lot less than a studio. And he walked out. But there you go.
He vigged you.
Yeah.
You got vigged.
Yeah, you have to rehearse. You
Yeah.
can't go in and just, we're just going to like feel it out. We knew that we could do that with the song because we knew what the end game was. So it was a matter of
There you go.
capturing that moment in the room.
You made a Daniel Day-Lewis joke before we went on. No.
It's just one of many.
No, you
guys.
did. Oh, he made a lot of jokes,
Yeah.
but his whole thing is preparation, then play. And so he spends like notoriously years preparing for a role. And by the time it comes to actually shoot the scene, he's just playing.
Yeah.
There's nothing he doesn't already know about every aspect of the
Incredible.
thing. And it's just like this, just prepare. And when it comes time to act, when the red light goes on, as I say, it should be fun. But that's if you did all the really hard work ahead of time. Now I'm imagining the pepperoni on her pizzas are all like perfectly spaced out. Like, does she measure them?
She's actually the
just
pizzas
kinda
are fairly improvised.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, they're good. The little planning into the,
yeah.
into the dough and how how hot the oven needs to
There you
be.
go.
And you look at a
Experimentation.
pizza and you roll it out and you're like, that's going to be a potato pizza.
Wow.
That one's going to
Oh.
be me. Like, no, this is true. I'm not.
So this is how good it is that I can't see any of that happening during the process.
You're not allowed?
No, I can't see that is the process.
You don't see
that's
the
happening.
process.
Oh yeah, like I'll roll it out and I'll feel it. I'm like, this one's not a meat lover's kind of pizza.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's so
Wow.
true.
But,
All right, go
but
ahead.
the word preparation in this context should almost be referred to as sacrifice, because when you think about that, the crossroads golden fiddle double conversation thing that happens,
sure.
it there really is you give up something to be able to get good at stuff.
Thank you for that. We've never talked about this in all the years.
Yeah.
I believe that whole deal with the devil thing is pure metaphor.
It's pretty much, it works, actually.
I think it's pure metaphor.
Because the better you get at any of these processes and any sort of humanitarian pursuit, you're gonna have to give up like some normalcy.
Time with friends.
Time with family.
Yeah.
Like balance in life would be probably the overarching statement of all
Sure.
that. Because you sort of de-platform yourself and put something else in the entire, make it the keystone of your being in a sense. And so that's a lot of that process of making an album. But here's the other thing that's really interesting about what you're saying to me. There's a lot of conversations right now about the Chat GPT thing and what that's going to do to music. And there's a lot of panic. And I think that this scenario, which was the original scenario, it's been the scenario for music making for a lot longer than it hasn't, right?
Yes.
It's maybe only the last 20, 30 years that it's even become, and then it's reached an apex, and now most of the music is not made, where you have to go in and make choices, and sort of like, you end up with what you end up with, good, bad, and different, and hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Hence the preparation. So, but there's scarcity in this style of music making now. Right?
Oh, sure.
And scarcity is what establishes value amongst humans. So, as we know, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and over half of them are EDM music producers. Okay, so there is not a lot of scarcity. Well, these are facts. I'm just telling you facts.
Yeah, no,
these are facts.
Wow.
Depending upon which news organization. So I think so. But basically, so what happens? Chat GPT. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. So this music that where deadlines were part of decision making, where all of these aspects of human nature had to come into play, and they're very humanistic, and you can hear the humanness in the recordings. Those are scarce, and those tend to survive a long time. If we have a glitch album that me and Eugene have been working on for years now, it's really good though.
Yeah.
But it's already passé. Though, because if you hear a glitch song in your television show now, it's like they're pointing back to 2013 or something. You know what I mean? So, but certain types of music, the music that we're talking about right now, it doesn't become passé. It just sort of continues.
So
on.
your EP stands as a good example of this. I think it's very organic music. The instruments,
Right.
There aren't any instruments that I've come across that like, wow, that I thought, well, it's like there's not a real dated keyboard sound, for instance. Hammond.
There's a Hammond. Yeah.
Timeless.
Timeless.
Harmonica. Hammond. Timeless. So, and then even, I got to think through some of the lyrics of it, but there's not like really any specific references to say like this was definitely written in 2022.
Right.
Right. And I think that's.
Can you imagine what those would be?
I know. I'm trying to think. What would that
Bitcoin
be?
was down.
No. Well, yeah. Yes, that. Or
Ethereum was up. You just.
Right.
Sorry.
Or, just like not a reference to getting a second booster.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
It's with this EP. I wanted it to sound like humans making music.
This is what.
Humans.
That's it.
That was it. That was your overline.
That's it. There are so many little, I don't want to say mistakes. I really don't like using that word in my vocabulary, but there are these little instances of human, like, oh, I did this little thing, but we're leaving it because there's such charm in that.
Yeah.
And like on the tune Slapjack at the very end,
The laugh.
Yeah.
But do you hear it like, right? And then
Right.
and then you hear, and then Steven is the one who's laughing. Yeah, just like that.
right.
Yeah. So what happened was he had a, oh God, what's that thing called? The
Vibroslap.
Vibroslap.
Final answer.
Oh, right.
So the Vibroslap,
Yeah.
and it exploded in his hands. Oh. And then
They're
it
very
fell.
volatile
They are.
instruments.
Those
Yes.
stupid little things. They're so
And they're
cool, but they're
wicked
so
loud.
dumb.
Wicked loud.
And just because that song so needed Vibroslap.
Yeah.
And it just explodes in his hand. He starts laughing, and we're like, "This is great!" Because I wanted a sort of human moment in that song because it's an instrumental and there was no singing on it.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and I wanted something organic, and that happened, and we all looked at each other and we're like, "That's the
Again,
moment."
knew that was the take.
That's the moment, and we thought we were so cool and original. Like, man, no one else has ever done this. This is
Nobody
great.
else had a Vibroslap fall apart at the end of that song.
Right. So then I'm listening to Howard Stern, and he's, they're talking about the Aerosmith tune. Steven Tyler's like, yeah, so in Sweet Emotion, I had a Vibroslap, and then it exploded on me in the song. Oh, I know. And I called Brett and Steve. I'm like, guys,
Can you believe it?
we're so not cool.
We're getting sued. We
know,
are
we're
so
getting
getting sued.
But those human moments, I think, are so important to leave in songs. Like this perfection thing, it's so scary to me.
Well, this is the important part of saying perfection, right? And what the listener might not know of this show is what you have to make the decisions on. Like, you literally couldn't entertain changing everything that is not exactly as intended, meaning like, I don't know, every aspect of quantization, every aspect of tonal, like that is not completely uniform in its existence.
Right.
And so at home though, while you're crouched down looking into your computer monitor with a tan right here, you can do that. You can beat your muse to death just by making it perfect. And
but that's what you've done.
yeah,
it's just
and
not
then
alive
you've beaten
anymore.
it to death, and you've taken all interest out of
All
it.
the life is
And
gone.
it becomes
so-
sterile, and it
becomes
doesn't
sterile.
breathe.
Yeah.
Now, notice, though, there's a balance clear to what we're talking about. Because on one hand, we're talking about a lot of preparation. You write,
Correct.
you edit that writing.
Absolutely.
Let's make that minor third a major third. So, and then you rehearse, and you go over, and you make sure. But that's the point, is that way you have room for the fun stuff. And you guys have done those gigs, right? I can think of a show I did for a long time, and the bits were the bits, and the tunes were the tunes, and you could just read each other's minds because you've done it over and over again.
They're really fun. It's comfortable.
Well, but then what we noticed after a while, stuff would just happen, or weird things from the audience, jokes, things like that. And as long as we followed the lead singer and whatever he was doing, he could go off whatever tangent he wanted, never to be repeated.
Yeah.
We could get right back into the tune.
Right.
And because we were so well prepared, because we knew the bits, we knew the core of the thing so well.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you, beginning students, you're learning a song. I have a student who's trying to work on a chord melody version of an old country song, and I'm having her peel back to just playing the melody. You haven't played the melody on its own long enough. Right. You just got to know that melody so well, so ingrained that even just throwing a couple extra strums in between the notes will just be ornamentation at this point.
Yeah.
But the melody's got to be the star. And that's the thing. That's all that preparation. In this case, is just the melody of the thing. Everything else is just going to be icing. Now, we're about halfway through the show. I feel as though we should play a tune.
We should play a song.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to do Slapjack.
Yeah.
Now, now I'm just curious. Was that one of the songs you always knew that was going to be on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm like, no one writes instrumentals anymore. At least like kind of funky rock. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And especially being at Sunset Sound. And this was the first one that we tracked that day at Sunset was this one.
Oh, good choice though. Loosens everyone up. That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
So that was really, really important to us. And that was a big thing too. Like Brett, Steven, and I, we talked about, okay, how are we going to get the order in which we are recording to get the flow going, okay, and get the vibe. All right, we warm up on this, okay, and then we got this one, and then, because Red River was next, and that one we're really comfortable with too, and then The Voices was the one between Matt and I. We had already warmed up with 2 songs.
Now you're there for hours.
And now we're getting the juices flowing. I mean, we had, so in five tunes, all the bed tracks were done without overdubs in 4.5 hours.
It's efficient.
Yeah, that is
really efficient.
Yeah.
I'd be proud of that.
It's less than an hour song.
Yeah.
Before we play this tune, what's the name of the EP and how do people get it?
The Voices.
The Voices.
By Angela Petrilli and the Players. You can check it out anywhere you stream music. It's on Bandcamp too, folks. So
There you go.
you want to buy it and support, it's there.
So Dylan and I are going to try and do this justice. We have no percussion. We have no vibra slap.
I know.
But if we're lucky, Rex will probably knock something over. Yeah.
She's like, I'm ready, guys. Let's do it.
Whenever you're set to go, we'll sneak in as you told us.
Absolutely. Just read the chart, guys.
It's way over there. Oh, that's right. I can read distance. I'm good. See, she's prepared. She brought a chart.
See?
There you go.
Perfecto.
Yeah,
got a little
guys.
slur in
Just
there.
like the record. Just like the record.
Very
All right.
cool.
So that was that was slap.
Slapjack.
I was going to say slapjack. I was going to say slapshot. Slapjack from Angie's EP voice. And now let's talk about the Stratocaster because I honestly never seen this paint job before.
Yeah.
So talk to us. So what? So we have gearheads out there watching too. So let's talk about this model.
Okay, so this is a Frankenstrat. So I built this from parts. So the body was from the first Strat I ever bought when I was 13 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. Cool.
Yes,
I
that's
love
the
that.
body. Yeah. So it was a midnight blue. Remember that midnight blue? It kind of looks like purple and like
kinda
blue
do.
and stuff.
What was that called?
Yeah.
Do you remember? What was it called? A
It
midnight
was.
blue.
I believe it was midnight blue.
Okay.
But so that was the body and the Strat style pickups in here,
And you were talking about this.
yes.
Okay, so talk about the pickups and what is going on.
You
back
can
here.
plug that in. These sound so luscious. Shout out to my friends at Fishman. I so love these pickups. It's such that beautiful stratty like 60s.
Yes.
It's just
Yes,
so right up my alley. These get that Gilmore tone like no
Mm-hmm.
one's business. Like they're great and they're so full and luscious. Like I like playing a lot of chords. I'm a very percussive player too, and it just covers all that ground. I love it. But yeah, you plug it in because
They're active pickups.
they're active pickups. So you plug it in like a phone. Done.
Nice.
Good to go. Yeah, I really like
So
it.
this saves you from what?
This saves me from like having to buy a gazillion dollars worth of 9-volt batteries.
9-volt batteries usually. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then taking the pack out. It's like, you
I
have to
know, it's
unscrew
such
the
a pain
cover.
in the butt.
So that's a really, really brilliant conversion.
Yes.
And then these are noiseless.
And they're dead quiet. Like
Which
they're
for
so
those
quiet.
of you with single coils out there, you got that 60 cycle hum. They get like, like so these have all that strat and that Fender chime.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys heard it. And you're going to into like a modeling amp
yeah,
here. So
yeah.
there should have been it, but no interference.
None at all. They're great. I love these pickups. I gig with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I did a gig with this. I have another guitar with these pickups in it, and I did a gig in Texas. The home of the Strat.
Yes, exactly.
And I had a bunch of people come up to me like, "What were those pickups?"
Nice.
And I'm like, "Check them out. They're cool."
There you go.
But yeah, I really like them. I've been really happy with them. And the neck is a Jimmy Vaughn signature neck.
Gotcha.
And it's got a slight V shape. It's nice. I usually play rosewood, but this whole thing is like such a vibe. I really like it.
And then the color.
Yeah, the color. So my buddy, shout out to Pat Wilkins in Van Nuys, California.
Can you get in on that, Daniel?
He, oh yeah, can we zoom in on this bad boy? I went to him because you see a lot of pink guitars, but I never like the hue.
Really?
The actual, there's certain like it's too like bubblegum. I don't like
okay.
that.
It's either like neon or bubblegum.
Yeah.
I like the eggshell.
Eggshell's beautiful.
That was but I think that's the one. That's a pink that appeals to me.
Yeah,
It's a bit
that's
matte.
beautiful.
Yeah,
But I
getting
wanted
close
something
to this.
different. I feel like a lot of you see a lot of the eggshell. So I went to
Right.
him and he's such an artist. And I said, I've always wanted to see a white to pink burst. Can you do that? And he's like, sure.
Yeah.
The front looks great. I love the burst on the back.
Yeah.
This detail that he did, like right here on the belly cut,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
it's beautiful. He's such an
thoughtful.
artist. I've had him paint a few of my guitars and he just so knocked it out of the park. With this one.
And we hear this on the EP?
This one was not used on the EP.
Uh-huh.
The guitars I used, I had an R9 Les Paul, which was like
I've seen that. That's in one of the videos.
Those record
yeah.
well.
I love the guitars
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did all the guitar all the guitar solos except for one. With that
An
Les Paul.
R9 is a Les Paul, everybody,
Yes,
but it's a
yes.
it's a reissue of a
59.
59 basically.
It's
And-
it's a beast and it's only 6
Yeah.
or 8.5 pounds. It's pretty light.
Oh, is it
yeah,
chambered?
it's pretty light.
That's
No,
super
it is
light.
not. It's a really
That's
light one.
cheating.
It's not chambered. It's
It's
a
not gonna
really,
mess
really
up
light
your
guitar.
shoulder, you know.
I've got like a 4-inch strap to
Yeah,
wear with that
exactly.
guitar because
Yeah, you
my
have to-
chiropractor's like, you're kind of sagging on your left side. I'm like, I know, I'm a guitar player.
You're sagging on your left side.
Yeah. He gets really defensive at the chiropractor.
Yeah.
He doesn't take criticism well. Yeah.
I just went on Monday.
You sit up straight.
Yeah.
Not
But,
even a real doctor.
But yeah, I used my other Strat with my Fluence pickups. That was an American Deluxe from '98, and with the rosewood fretboard, and then I have a '58 reissue custom shop double cutaway Les Paul Jr. So I use that for the slide for Red River. That was the guitar I used for that one.
With P90s.
Yeah,
Nice.
delicious.
That's fantastic. Now,
Delicious.
Daniel, do we have any
Delicious.
questions or comments going on?
Yes, there are a couple questions.
All right.
Jonathan Lingo asks, Angela, how do you approach writing a song?
Ooh.
First lyrics first? Do you have a process you follow?
For this EP, it was all over the place. The voices, that song, the lyrics came first. And
I would imagine
it
so.
was very stream of consciousness. And I'm like, oh, this is very much like a character thing that's going on between two, like a conversation between two people. And I didn't want the chords to be too busy. So it is literally 4 chords. That song is A, G, D, and C. That's it. That's the entire song. And I wanted the lyrics to really, then the story that was being told to be
So the
prominent.
focus
Correct.
is the lyric.
correct.
Now, because I want everyone's going to rush out and listen to this material afterwards, I'm sure. So let's talk about that song and the story behind it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it was. That is a conversation. I was very much taking on a perspective that wasn't necessarily my own, but I say that a little bit. We all have that devil and angel on the
Yes,
shoulder.
yes.
So it's very much that conversation between the optimist and the pessimist. And the dynamics are really, really important for me to have play out in the song. And my bandmates are just such incredible musicians, and they were so 100% on board with the storytelling, and they just painted such a beautiful picture. I cannot thank them enough. They're incredible, and they make me a better player every day. All those guys, I just love them. And the dynamics are very important because you got these peaks of optimism, and then you're down in the gutter, and then you're up again and you're down again. That's just a human experience. So it was very important to me to not only have the lyrics say that, but to have the music say that too. And there's a moment in the song, and I definitely want to shout out to Vic.
Yeah.
Listen to this part. This was just
Percussionist.
Yes, our buddy Vic Vanacore is great. We gig with Vic all the time. He did this part. What's it called? I want to say kielbasa, and it's so not the. What's that thing called?
I like kielbasa. I think we should
It's
stay
so
with that.
not. It's
Yeah.
what's
but
it called?
but we're
What's
getting
it called?
hungry 'cause
This is
Drew's
the foodie.
cooking
I
it.
know, right? The thing. It's if anyone in the comments knows what that thing is
cassava.
called,
No,
it does that.
yeah.
Anyway,
You know, it's like kind of a gourd, but it's got the like the silver balls around it, right?
yeah.
And that move along.
It's not a gyro. It's
we'll come up with the name.
yeah.
But he's got one of those.
Put it in the comments, everybody. Anyway, yeah. Show notes.
Can you ask Chat GPT, Daniel, what the name of that is?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, well, I guess you could ask.
There's a couple different ones.
So, in the guitar solo, he plays it,
Oh wow.
and
Minimalistic.
Brett, yes. So Brett Grossman and our buddy Stephen Hawker
and Brett,
mixed this.
Yeah.
And they sent me the first draft of it, and that section came on, and that part was so loud, and I'm like,
Did they turned it up?
It was one of my notes. It was loud in the mix, and I go, I think you should turn it down a little bit. And Brett goes, "Those are the voices, Angela." And I'm like, oof. I'm like, sold. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful artistic thing, and that's just just says a lot about the guys in the band and how
Yeah, when
we're
everyone's
all
involved,
storytellers.
You know, you can get a moment like that, which is somewhat tone painting in a way.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. It's not totally literal, but if you listen to something long enough, hey, wait a
Right.
minute.
Right.
There's this thing going. Oh, that's really lovely.
It's an incredibly beautiful moment, and it's one of my favorite parts of the song.
Well, so something that's cool about this song for rhythm players is that the song it's a shuffle swing. It's literally a swung shuffle, and so the characteristics of swing are a lot of movement between the chords. So swing usually
Right.
has like they're noted for having
Right.
a lot of movement, and
Right.
the characteristic of shuffles is not to have a lot of movement in the harmony. So there's like
the long, short thing. Yeah.
so.
Oh, interesting. I never thought about that.
That's a fact, Jack. And so when you have shuffle swings, drummers love these because it's like a lagged shuffle. Basically, it's like a shuffle with it has a very relaxed feeling because you get to delay the second eighth note. And so what's really cool about it is that as a percussionist, I'm sure they're really enjoying being able to do that.
that space.
Yeah. 'Cause
Right.
You can make a penultimate everything.
right. And
Yeah.
from what I recall from Vic's percussion session, oof, that's hard. It's hard to say those
Vic's
two words
percussion
together.
session.
Blah, 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 blah.
Vic's percussion
The
session.
arsonist has oddly shaped
Yeah.
he played a wooden box for that.
I remember that. Yeah.
He
You
played a
told us
box
that,
and
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Which we still need to know the name.
Sounds like he's trying to start a fire.
But yeah, it was great. And Steven too on the drums, he went between, I believe he went between sticks and brushes. Yeah.
I'm trying. So
I believe
the name of that thing. It looks like it's made from like
You're gonna spend the rest of the next 15 minutes
Sorry.
Sears siding,
Describing-
Daniel, like the siding of someone's
And
garage
just gonna-
door. Have you found it?
I have not.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Can you imagine
The
the
entire internet.
What is?
it's, I
I
know.
don't know
we
if
can't
we're
get to
thinking
it.
about the same thing.
That's the other thing. Is like for all we know, Daniel doesn't even know.
Yeah, it's a twisty thing that has.
No, don't say. Now let's talk a little bit about the Norms show.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about gear and guitars and but let me peel back. So you got your first guitar at 9?
I started playing at 9. Yeah, so maybe 9, 10.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the first so not the first electric was when you were 13?
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
So what was that guitar at 9?
It was an Ovation. I still have it.
Mine was
Really?
an applause.
Oh,
Not
mine's a
even an
celebrity
ovation. It was man, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. Okay, so then and it was just you got the music bug.
Oh, for
Musical
sure.
family. What?
My mom plays a little bit. My dad is a huge music appreciator. He saw Leonard Skinner at the Hollywood Palladium, I believe, a few months before the crash.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah, that
Yeah.
tracks. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were
And the Outlaws were opening.
Oh,
I remember.
cool.
Yeah, and he said he was, had his elbows on the stage, and just, the guys were like barefoot, just like
Killer
rocking
venue,
out.
too.
So,
What's
yeah.
the guitar?
Talk about a band that rehearsed.
Yeah,
Man.
that band is super. reversed.
You watch there's bootleg footage of their shows, and you're like, oh, that solo is exactly on the record. Like,
Yeah.
you think they sound like long Southern boogie jams, and then you would see them live, like,
Yeah.
no, everything is in place, man.
I
We're
was
tight.
I was playing a gig in Austin with a friend of mine. Artemis Pyle played after
yeah.
us, and we had crossed each other backstage. And he just looks at me and he like played the drums on my shoulders, and I'm like, and I called my dad. Like, guess what?
Wow.
I'm never
I thought
washing
it
my
was
shoulders again.
That's right, yeah.
I thought it
Okay,
was
so
cool. Anyway.
so a musical
fact.
family. So you grew up. You were encouraged to listen to the great stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my great grandfather, he was a musician and he played a bunch of different instruments, and we found some orchestras that he wrote.
Really?
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do Sibelius. So like my
So you
nana
can
would
hear him,
love
that
my
would-
nana would love to hear him. She's 82.
That would be intense.
Well, you can
Yeah.
use something called Photo Score too. You can actually
Really?
scan them in.
No kidding.
Yeah, it'll
All right.
get most of it right.
Can
And
we
then you
talk
have to-
about that later?
Yeah.
Because I know it would really
Sure.
mean a lot
That
to my
would be
family to hear
very
this.
moving.
Yeah, and it's all handwritten still, and we have it. My mom has it. It's really beautiful. Yeah, and his
What language is it? Is the
it's in Italian.
I would say German or
Yeah,
Italian.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's in Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna use the thing of the sound.
Hey, you know how you can tell if a squirrel's
Yeah.
Italian? The most squirrels, their hands are like this.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But the Italian.
Make the hands like
did
this.
this. There's so many good memes. You see the one with the eagle?
Yeah.
I died. I thought there's so
That
many
one's
good ones.
hilarious.
I love it. Anyhow, but his brother, his name was Harry Bertoya, and he was a mid-century modern artist. And him and his brother Oreste, so my great grandfather, they did these things called synambients, and they're tonal musical sculptures. There's one at the Huntington here in LA.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're all over, and it was really important to me to have one of those on the EP. So that thing that sound that opens up the EP on Red River is one of those synambient sculptures.
How did you record it?
We went to, I asked my cousin Celia, who's Harry's daughter, and I said, I'd really love an original synambient that your father and my great grandfather like touched. It would be really important to me to have that on this EP. And I said, do you know anyone in the LA area who has one? And she said, yes, reach out to Louis Stern in West Hollywood. And he has a beautiful, beautiful little art museum there. And he had one of these sculptures, and we chatted, and I go, listen, we will come to you. We have
Honestly,
a studio or, mics that we could bring in there, and we'll be in and out of your hair in an hour.
Yeah.
And, I said it would really mean a lot to me and would love to do this. And him and his team were just incredibly wonderful and kind to us.
Oh,
and
good for you.
It was really beautiful. And he said, I've had a few of these in my collection, and this is the most musical one. And it's such a gift. And we got, Brett and Steven got like 3 different microphones, and I played it, put my gloves on.
You got photos, video,
all that
Okay,
stuff.
good,
So that'll
good.
be out on the YouTube. We did a little video on it, so
I
we'll
can't
be
wait to
releasing
see
all
that.
of this stuff. But it was very beautiful.
I love the stories behind this EP.
Yeah.
This is great. It's it's one of those things, like if we could just sit down with everybody who puts out music, every piece of music. I mean, I know nowadays we hit our phones and we don't think about it, which is fine because it's the soundtrack to our lives. But sometimes if you really just bear down on a piece of work, there's a lot there.
Well, imagine if you don't go to your computer to write a song. So imagine you have to sit down with an instrument, which you're already like, I have shit I have to do right now. You don't understand. Like, I have bills and problems. And it's like, well, there's no time for this nonsense. You know what I mean? So you've set everything aside, or you've put it aside, and you're actually going to try to do this. You're going to be like, all right, well, this better mean something. But if it's like, I'm going to drag and drop samples into a mixer until until I find catharsis. I'm not saying
how
you
do you know
can't
you're
get
done?
it.
Yeah.
But it's the sacrifice is not this. It's not a 1-to-1 on the sacrifice level.
Sure.
That's
I
all.
hear you.
Yeah,
He's got a bit of a theme.
Yeah.
I try to stay.
I have, and before we go, I have one more question. When the hell did he change guitars? I never
Oh
saw
my
it.
God,
Did you
yes,
notice
that
it?
was
stands
really
for
fast.
surety, sacrifice. S-A. Okay, I'll work on the acronym later.
I was
We'll
gonna
get back
say-
to later.
He's like Gary Busey all of a sudden. Sincerity stands for sweet, intense notions. It's just gonna go
Sweet,
on.
intense.
It just goes on and on and on. Now here's the thing. So it was 2020 lockdown that you interviewed me on Instagram, and then
Yes.
I only met you in person for the first time like a month ago
I know, isn't that crazy?
at Ireland's.
Yeah.
Are you there every Tuesday?
I'm
Or
there
ish?
like once a month. Once
Gotcha.
a month,
Okay.
but I gotta. It's such a fun hang. I have made an effort to go more.
It's
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 fun.
an Irish pub in Van Nuys, California. So if anybody lives in Southern California area, and on Tuesdays they do a jam.
Yeah, it's like an
essentially.
Americana
Yeah,
jam.
yeah.
Singers. It is so fun.
Yeah,
Great musicians.
I had I didn't even know I was going to be there that night.
That's so. Aren't those the
And
best
it-
kind of nights?
Yeah, and then I got called up, and I don't even remember what happened, but it was so lovely. And then, but right around that time though, Dylan was already talking about, so we have to have Angie on the show. We have to have
Yeah.
Angie on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this all came together. Do you now? This is a very 2023 type question, I guess. Now, do you, when you have new music like this, do you tour this?
Oh wow, that's a very 2023.
but I mean, if this was 1983,
Right.
that would just be an assumption.
Yeah.
Right.
But now we could make a case. Is that even necessary?
I'm doing a little thing in Nashville. I'm
Okay.
playing for like a week. Me and Matt are going, and we got some buddies down in Nashville who are going to be our band.
Tremendous.
Just like talk about amazing musicians. who
Oh
are
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
I'm so looking forward
And
to
a lot
it.
of them moved from LA.
I know. So it's like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. It's funny. I so agree with you. Things are a little bit different now, and I have really been thinking about that. I'm like, do I really want to do like a 2-month tour? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I plan in the things that I know, like within my control. Like I really, really want to do this, but I'm very calculated and stuff. I mean, you've known me for a while.
Right.
I'm very methodical on how I do things.
Yeah.
And it's really got to make
Orderly.
sense. Yeah. And it's got, my big thing, I got to make sure my guys are taken care of.
I know.
That's really, really
I know, and it's
important to
tough.
me.
And that's
It's
a
important to
challenge.
me to take
That's
care
a
of my
challenge.
guys.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah,
So if
good
we're
for
going to
you.
go on a long tour, it's got to be worth it to them. And, really, again, being true to the music.
Yeah.
I want to show up and be my best
Right.
in everything I do.
Right.
And I don't want to just do it because, I think I have to do it. Like, I want to do it because I love it. Mm-hmm. And, again, just want to
And then
make
the
sure
quality
that everyone,
usually just comes
the
through because
quality,
that's the
quality
background.
to me, it's not quantity. It is quality to me.
Now, as people are watching this on YouTube, there's something else they can watch on YouTube that involves guitars. Can you tell me a little bit about the Norm Show?
Yes. So
And how
the
that came
folks,
about.
Yes, the folks at Norm's, I love them. They're like family to me. Norm is like an uncle to me, and it's just talk about someone who's an advocate of indie musicians
Mm-hmm.
and really, really. It's just a wonderful human being. I'm so thankful to have him be a part of my life and the whole crew at Norm's.
Yeah.
It's like we're just like a nice little family. It's great. But yeah, I go and there are some killer guitars that he has in this collection, and he's like, "Here, just play this, Golden Era Martin guitar." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, this sounds great." And It's so much fun to pick a guitar from his incredibly glorious collection. I mean, those of you who play, know about Norm and what's going on over there in
Maybe
Tarzana.
some of you, if you saw the movie This is Spinal Tap, when Nigel Chuffman goes through his collection of really expensive guitars, that's actually that's Norm's stuff. They went to Norm's to do that. So
it's
and is
so
it
much fun.
one guitar per episode? Like, do you feature a guitar?
I'll do like a guitar of the day. I'll guest host. My buddy Michael Lemo is the host of that. Is another. You guys should have him on here. He's an
That's a good choice. Yeah,
insane player, and just he's
and great
awesome.
guitar stories too.
Great guitar stories. He's great. And I'll go and I'll walk around the store, or I'll ask Norm like, hey, something new come in that's really cool that you'd like me to feature, and I'll grab the guitar and I let the guitar tell me what's it wants to be played. I don't be like, I'm going to play this song and this song and this song on it. Like, I will play the guitar and I'm like, oh yeah, that will so bring out this in this guitar. I'm going to play this song and that will so bring out this. I'm going to do this. So it's very organic. And
How much time do you spend with the guitar making that decision?
I don't know, about 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
John Scholl found the name of the instrument, Kavasa, which I believe I said. I said Kasava.
Kielbasa. I was close.
Quick round of questions. Oh, by the way, what's the name of the show?
Petrilli Picks. You can go to Norman's Rare Guitars too on their YouTube channel. They got a bunch of awesome content from many awesome musicians.
We'll put the link in the bio of this for replay, so you guys can get right over there without searching it through the comments. These are quick questions, if that's possible at this point.
Yes.
Daryl M is asking, who are you currently listening to?
Oh my gosh. Well, on the way here, I was listening to Supernova album by Ray LaMontagne. Ray's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Brothers Landreth, I absolutely love. Those guys rock.
Yeah.
Bonnie Raitt has been on pretty deep repeat.
We did a deep dive of Nick of Time a couple weeks ago.
Come back to do the
We
next
should come
20
back to.
repeat.
All right,
we
I
should-
gotta practice.
Well, no, it's and also it's like we have to research. Too
Oh, you're
every
gonna
time.
love this. So we did an episode. I don't know if I told this story on air or not. So we did an episode on Nick of Time, and I had my Strat tuned to like the open A chord because we did a bit of a thing called Love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put the Strat back in the case. Forget about it. And then Dave Raven and those guys asked me to come by at Ireland's
I
and
love
sit
Dave.
in for a song.
Yeah.
For Cinco de Mayo. Sure. And I chose a Texas Tornadoes tune, like an easy rocker with 2 chords. Fine. Show up there. Chris Masterson is the house band guitar player.
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
So, but I thought, well, I'll bring my own guitar. So I take my Strat out of the case, get on stage. He hands me his cable, and I just figure I'll just give myself a quick little pitch check, and forgot. Oh, this is tuned to an open chord.
Oh shit.
And and by the way, my Strat floating bridge.
Oh, no.
So now I'm just chit chatting with the audience, and I'm stalling, and
you're-
Chris's
Yeah.
tuner is freaking out.
Oh God, of course.
And I was
it
like,
is.
oh, so we just started the song, and I just threw solos to a lot of other people
Yeah.
while I'm tuning during
Smart.
song. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Real pro move there. Anyway, so that's how Bonnie kind of got me at Ireland's.
Yeah.
Anyway, so so another
good
question
one.
here.
Yes.
This is from Scott Fogelman. He's a longtime viewer, and he goes back when the Fender days and stuff. Ask Angela who her biggest inspirations are, and what was her biggest inspiration for this album.
Ooh, I love this question, Scott. As far as guitar players go, David Gilmour is one of my favorites. Jimmy Page, Stevie Ray Vaughan. As far as songwriters go,
Yeah.
a lot of Paul Simon. I was listening to a lot of Paul Simon during this. His conversational quality to his music, I find so incredibly just inspiring. And a lot of Paul Simon for me. Ray LaMontagne is another big influence for me too, as far as songwriting goes. Jason Isbell too, huge.
Yes, that's
He's another guy I'm listening to
That's
like
my boyfriend
on
right there.
repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
That's
Jason
my guy.
Isbell. He's great.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Anything else before we let this lady on with move on with her life?
Today. I think we've been very
I think
thorough.
we did. I still want to know when you changed the guitar. I'm going to go back and watch the show just to see when he did that. I have no idea when that happened.
It's a
That was
flashbang.
weird.
Yeah.
Angela, I can't thank you enough so much.
Thank
And
you
this is
so much for having
an
me.
absolute
Anytime.
blast. Oh,
Anytime.
we will take you up on that.
Okay.
Believe me. I want to thank
love
you,
it.
Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor,
Thank
was there
you.
anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Daniel for coming here. And
Daniel back
Yeah,
there. Thank you for helping
Daniel.
out, buddy.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a Daniel cam soon. We're just
We have a Daniel light today.
we have a
but
Daniel light. That's right.
No light for the.
Piece by piece, folks. Thank you. Thanks again, Angela. I really
Oh my gosh,
appreciate
my
it.
pleasure. My
Tell you
pleasure.
what, we'll catch you guys next week. Let's go out on your riff here. Let's go back
Yeah,
on
you
a
wanna go-
slap back. Yeah,
Wait,
we're just
let
gonna
me-
and Daniel's gonna fade us out. Did you get a call?
Let me see. No,
Oh,
I'm
you
trying to
did.
grab my guitar pick.
You know, I noticed someone that
the
so
hell?
do you do a lot of hybrid or is it
I do.
You do.
I do,
And
very
it
much,
looks
yeah.
like when I watch you play, it was
Yeah.
you're you're probably going back and forth and not even noticing anymore.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, I love it. It's probably my tech. It is one of the most prominent techniques I use when I play. Is the hybrid
And it's
picking,
probably more.
for sure.
It looks like you're doing more muting than it looks like.
I mean, even with the voices.
So on that video, this is where I noticed it.
Yeah, I do. It's all over the place on that.
Let's go out on that riff actually.
Yeah. All right. All right.
This
A little
is-
Mixolydian.
Yes. This
All right,
is
all right,
This
okay.
is the riff to the title track from Angie's EP right out now. Here, Voices. So we're gonna go out on this.
Sure.
Go ahead. Should have brought my harmonica.
I know we miss you, Matt.
What was that?
No.
Are we still live? Oh, sorry.